stuff. Right. Okie dokie. So now we're recording. So guys, this is recording now. So if you any questions, feel free to put them in chat. We'll be talking for a bit about what we're doing and about the new pricing structure that we're bringing forward and about our course as a whole. And in time, we'll obviously be speaking to Nico and to Dr. Nigel Marshall, who's also joined us this evening. Apologies if those of us have already seen this recognises the presentation. It is pretty much the same one, but I've added a few bits to it. So as I say, as the thing says, welcome to our GCSE and webinars presentation. And we go. So about us then, we've been running GCSE Astronomy by distance learning since about 2009. It was actually a sort of a lower key thing between myself and Dr. Joanna Jarvis, who met her by chance via a newsletter that was sent via an astronomy society, and she was an astronomy tutor and I was building this up. So instantly that there was a marriage, metaphorically speaking, and this started. Joanna sadly is no longer with us. She had to leave due to other commitments, but we've continued forward with Nigel Marshall, who's present with us tonight, and when we keep moving forward. So yeah, we've been going for well over 10 years. Doesn't time fly, Nigel?
Very much.
And we work with home educators, mainstream schools, not to mention the mature learner. We have supported schools, or I should say, well, schools usually have used us to support individual learners that have been interested rather than give us entire course. We're hoping to change that, and obviously home educators will be having reasonable supply. Okay, so about the team. Okay, well, this is the boring bit. You know about me, don't you? There we are. Nigel Marshall should come as at no need for any introduction. He is well known in the field. He's been a senior examiner with Pearson's Excel for some decades now, and he's also author of the book GCSE Astronomy: A Guide for Pupils and Teachers, which is now, is it in the 4th edition now, Nigel, or has it gone to number 5 since I wrote that?
Number 5.
Number 5 now. There we are. That's something I should have edited, but there we go. It's had 5-star reviews, and Dr. Nigel Marshall is pretty much the authority, but when it comes to GCSE astronomy, so we're very lucky to have him with us. Robert Ratford, unfortunately, due to other commitments, is scaling back his work as a tutor. He still has some learners who he is assisting, but he is taking a step back, mainly due to health as well. He's suffering from long COVID, and he's winding down for retirement, but hopefully Nico Sabo, who's joined us this evening, who will also be speaking to later, will be stepping in to assist as well, as hopefully things start picking back up. What does this course include? Well, there's the list, and we've added a few things since I last gave this. Obviously, the 24/7 access to the portal, digital interactives and quizzes, downloadable worksheets, email course support from the course advisor, email technical support. I try to turn around any emails that come in about access problems. Most people, I think, expect it to be resolved a couple of days later. I turn it around as soon as I get it, if I'm able to. Access to robotic telescope. We're linked up with the Liverpool telescope there. Access to amateur astronomy courses. I keep forgetting I've included those, but they've probably been out of date now. Free textbook, soft and hard copy that's included. Observational task sign off, support with exam centres that I've asterisked there. What that means in terms of support is we have contacts with them, but we don't ourselves get involved from an administrative point of view. What we say is, there's the contact, you go and deal with them, and obviously give them the observational tasks sign off, which they know how we operate, so shouldn't really be a problem. The other thing I wanted to mention here is that the course support, that's via email. We don't use the term tutor here to discuss or describe our tutors, because they're not paid very much for what they're given, so they're not going to, for the money they're paid, have one-to-one Zoom calls and spend hours and hours a week on tuition. But we're not about that, although you can engage tutors directly with for that service. but what you pay for with us is the email support, and the webinars that we offer are not part of the packages we'll discuss later on. Well-being as well, I've included well-being because I think that's important. Try to bring in past experiences here and talking to other people about the stresses being a student involves, the uncertainty, because we put an awful lot in, we invest ourselves in, because it's a big thing. Our futures hang on this. We've made plans. We want to go to university. We want to read physics, astrophysics, in some cases, other subjects. So the pressure, the stakes are high when we're studying. And, we try to bring in a bit of an ethos of work, of study balance and other things. But that's something we can discuss later. Exam centres. Oh, I've already been through this, but very briefly. Yeah, course fees do not include exam centre fees. Used to do it, but not now. That's because we deal with several different centres and they've all got their own price charges. So we're just training providers now. We no longer factor that in because it'd be too expensive anyway. And also with exam centres, and I always put this disclaimer in, we cannot guarantee that they'll go on accepting our learners. I mean, we've had that before where an exam centre nearly let us down. They didn't in the end. Everything went through swimmingly, but that's a risk and a liability that we could have carried, and it would have hurt us. Upon signing up, learners are urged to make contact and arrangements with their exam centres, and learners are also learners are always free to find their own exam centres, but we haven't got people in every part of the country. So, if people have a local exam centre and they're fine with accepting our authentication on observational tasks, absolutely fine. And and at the end of the day, we will sign off the observational tasks when we're satisfied that everything has been fulfilled. So only at that point will it be signed off either by Dr. Marshall or whoever the course advisor is. I think I've kind of been through this already, and I'm dreadful for this, covering off slides before I've actually got onto the slide, but there we go. I use these as a prompt more than anything else, but you can see from here, the tutors aren't full-time with us. They've got other commitments. So if they send an email, you don't get a reply, email me, info@onlineastronomycourses.co.uk, and I will raise awareness. It might be that your email has gone into the course advisor's spam box, in which case, I will raise that and we'll get you help. So, that's self-explanatory there. And our webinars. So this is optional. What have I done here? Okay, I don't know why I've put that in. Okay, fair enough. So I've gone on to the GCSE Astronomy new pricing thing. Okay, so good news, we no longer charge the £155 a year flat rate, or the 310 in total. We've done this for years, and quite frankly, we do like that money coming in. It really does help bolster the coffers. But over the last sort of couple of years, I think the cost of living has taken a bit of a toll. And we are cheaper and I believe better than other providers offering a similar format to what we do. What doesn't help, what's been flagged on a number of occasions, is people just don't have that money to spend up front. So that has become a bit of a problem. And also for me, I've never really been certain when to cut off and when to start the following year. People enroll now because it's September, October, November, December, they're still signing up. So at what point do I include that in this year that's getting shorter and shorter? And what point do I include that in the following year? So for the payment, people are getting slightly longer support, other people getting slightly less support. And then, of course, we offer the accelerated course of £310, which is the cost of the whole thing, which the idea is the course is completed in a single year. And the learner who signs up for that has been getting it for gets essentially paying for a year's support. And then, of course, there's the problem there of them, not sitting their exam then, and they feel shortchanged because they paid for 2 years. We're only given 1 year. So I've had some, especially over COVID, but where people were not happy at us charging them another £155 for a further year's support, which legally we're allowed to do. But I could kind of see it from people's points of view. And also it's coming back down to this payment for the full thing, which was starting to I think, cause headaches all round. What is fair, and you know, at the end of the day, delivering what is fair, but also what is reasonable for us. Asking tutors to support people for 18 months who are paying £155, and others are getting a lot less. So that's why we've had to rethink the whole thing. I think pretty much that's what I've already said. Yeah, we are the cheapest pretty much online. I know we've got other providers that some of them charge free time, you know, an extra 150 on top of what we charge. So what we're offering now, in addition to what we've already been offering, and I will get to the pricing structure in a bit, but I'm telling you at the moment how it's changing. So what we're doing now is, in addition to the previous great deal, which we've already showed you, we're going to be offering access to both years of materials. So whoever signs up for the subscription gets access to both years. And access to previous year's past exam paper webinars. That's the previous webinars that we've done. That they'll get access to those. We've looked over past exam paper questions. There's also videos on exam technique we're including in there, as well as our Maths for GCSE Astronomy, and also the wellbeing coaching I've included. So those are things we've kind of put in as a goodwill gesture to increase value. But as the years have gone by, we've created more content between Nigel and myself, you know, building up these over the last couple of years, and the exam techniques. I thought, well, can't keep giving stuff away for the same price. I mean, it starts to lose value. And after a while, well, you can't easily sell it individually because, again, it's a money problem. So it's been looking at how to make it available to learners. So you, the learner, benefits, as do we, the providers. So it's a win-win all round. So essentially, we are now offering all of the above for £17.75 per month with an initial £57 initial sign-up fee. I don't know why it's in dollars. We only take pounds, I'm afraid. But anyway, and the sign-up fee is for a number of reasons. The sign-up fee. So the sign-up fee pays for your materials, and it pays for the first part of the course advisor's fee. You know, for helping you. And we're doing this because while you know people could start with us and then drop out, in which case, well, you've had your book and you've maybe got your course advisor to sign off your tasks and then left us. So really, we don't want to be having people sign up for us just to have their observational tasks signed off and to grab our exam centre details and so on. So we're building in some fail safes there. But essentially, how it will work is if you signed up now, today, for example, you'll pay your 57 quid, but then there'll be nothing to pay in October. And then you start paying your £17.75 after that. So it's to give us the initial payment we need, and also to give our course advisor. The academy makes nothing at the moment, you know, because we're counting on you keeping going with your payments. And yeah, payments begin the following month. So yeah, after you know, so if you pay now in the September, you won't pay anything in October. You won't. So you won't pay. That's it. So if you pay the advance payment this month, then you don't pay the 1775 this month. You'll start paying that in October. That's what I mean. Sorry for the confusion there. I was confusing myself. So your initial payment would be now. You then start paying in October. So obviously we don't take the £57 plus the 1775 off you in the same month. We hope that makes it easier. So payment. Yeah. Moving on. So what about the webinars? Well, again, with the webinars, and I have consulted with a number of home educators on these, I think they wanted them to be included in the subscription, but then the price starts increasing. And at the moment, I wanted to see how the subscription took off of the basic offer of the materials before bringing the webinars in. And at the moment, the webinars, I think Nigel and I work extremely hard on them, and we don't really charge enough for them as it is. But then there's charging what something is worth and charging what then there's how much for somebody's willing to pay. And at the moment, the price is about right. And I didn't really want to be under pressure of lowering the price any further to incorporate it into the subscription. So at the moment, the webinars remain an added extra. So as they currently stand at the moment, and I believe the model is is quite fair. At the minute, we are running them, but it's for a 3-month trial to see if we can get more people signing up. At the moment, we don't really have the people to make it viable for another year, but we are running them just because A, we enjoy doing it, and B, to see if it can remove that uncertainty for members. They're happening. If they stop happening, then we'll cancel the direct debits for people. So that's kind of where they are at the moment. And while I'm here, and I apologize if I'm already quoting the content on another slide, it's not on the next one. So the first Thursday, the penultimate Thursday at the end of the month will be the GCSE first year, and the final Thursday will be for the second year. So second years will get access to both because we deem that important. First years obviously will just get access to the first year. So that's kind of how that works. But again, I'm not including that in the weapon in a subscription fee. It just simply isn't financially viable for us to do that. And I could increase it to include those, but then I think we'd be under pressure to lower the price a little bit. And I think it's already low enough without doing that for what we do. If you lower a price too much, then you lose the value. And then it's as simple as that. You lose the value, and then to try to increase the price, then people expect you to lower it again. Look at providers like Udemy, for example. Moving on. So what happens once you sign up? Well, there's the form on the website which you complete. Now that form, the information you provide on that is just for us to add you onto the portal. No other reason. I need to know your name. I need to know your full name for the portal, also for the tutor. I need your email address so that I can send you back your details and also put you onto the portal. And we need your postal address so Nigel can send your materials out to you. And then, of course, once the admin fee's been paid and you set up the standing order mandate for £17.75 a month, I will then pause that so you don't pay anything more that month. And obviously, you've paid your £17.75. Getting a bit of a dry throat now. Yeah. Excuse me for a second. Yeah. So the mandate's set up. Now, there is the 14-day cool-off, which we have to follow by law. And that is going to be obviously applying after the initial admin setup. Now, how that's going to work is you do have the cooling off period. So if you decide this isn't for you, you can cancel. And I understand if you do that, that's going to be a lot of administration for us. So that'll mean Nigel has got to, or whoever has got to refund any monies back to us. And of course, your book will have to be sent back by yourself. So if your book has already gone out and you decide to cancel, you'll have to send that back. And if it gets back in a state that Nigel can't resell it, then unfortunately that money is going to have to come off of the £57. And he only charges £10 for that book. So you can imagine he's not making much money in it as it is. So if you did cancel, then that would be the state of play. And if you wanted to come back after, we're not really in the business to be messed around like that, to be fair. If you're with us, you're with us. If you cancel, come back. We don't really need the customers like that. So there will be a £25 admin fee to add people back on, because that means I've got to take your money again, set you up again, put you back onto the portal. It uses my time. So I've got to factor that in, I'm afraid. So trying to be as fair as possible, both to the learner and to us. But we like people to sign on, to go with us the full distance and get the best grade you possibly can after. That's what we aim for. So, yep. So the webinars then, okay, these are run, I think I've already said that. First year, okay, so a bit of a change here, but I'm looking over past exam paper questions. Because of COVID-19, some exams were missed out, and I believe over the years we've covered them. So now we're going back to covering off the lessons for the topics. I believe the first year next month will be Planet Earth, Nigel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be Planet Earth. So we'll be going over the topic, the information, the detail there, and of course covering off any of the exam questions from this summer. Nigel, you just gone? Have you ever got those papers? So we'll be looking over that.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking over that. And each month, yeah. So that's the only difference. We're not looking over past exam paper questions solely because we've already done that by and large. So now we're going to be looking at the topics. This is going to be a lesson and also interactive, trying to get away from Nigel talking all the way through, having a bit more of a discursory format. But we understand as well that people are not necessarily comfortable talking in a live recorded session. And unfortunately, we do have to record them because while people pay for them, they might not necessarily be able to view them. So that's why we record them and we put them up in a portal. And before anybody asks it, no, these will not be available to people on the subscription. I might include them later on discussion with Nigel to decide what to do. But at the moment, these will only be available to those signed up on the webinar. Got to give people some value. So those won't be part of the subscription package. Not the standard one. I might have another model later down the line if there's demand. I want to see first if anybody picks up the subscription. But that's not all. Yes, of course, we have other courses joining us. Yes, you've heard the rumblings, haven't you? Well, they are true. GCSE Maths will be tutored by Nico Sabo, and we are hoping to have an online course available, which we are working on at the moment, which we're hoping to come online in September 2024. Nico, would you like to say a few words on that?
Yeah, I'll try to put my video on as well. I couldn't at the beginning.
There.
Hi. Yeah, so the GCSE Maths course is going to be, well, it is a higher tier GCSE course. It is GCSE and not IGCSE. And we'll concentrate on Edexcel, but the content is the same for all of the exam boards, and it's a 2-year course. There are videos and downloadable notes from all of the videos. There will be quizzes. After every topic, there will be 3 quizzes. And is there anything else? No. Oh, I almost said Nigel. Hi, Nigel.
There we go.
Al, did I leave anything out?
So essentially, that there's going to be the video lessons that Nico has worked very hard to put together. There's also going to be the same interactives that they'll be put into, so you can group them together. The videos, that is. There's going to be downloadable quizzes, which will be on worksheets. And plus also we're doing digital quizzes as well within the maths course. I will say we don't like that, but we can't easily do it any other way. If you want progress feedback on the course, that's why the digital quizzes are coming in. And yeah, it's going to be over 35 weeks is how it's been built. And
the first year is 35 weeks. And the second year is 30 weeks because the exams will start in May. That's
right. And the first year has just been completed near enough. But we're just literally tidying up and building the classroom. We had hoped to get it ready by now, but it hasn't happened. So we're now saying next September that will be online. We hope. I never promised to deliver until we have delivered. That's always been a mantra that I've tried to follow. But I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank Nico for all the hard work in building this for us and working with us on this. And not forgetting to thank Nigel as well for his ongoing hard work as well in helping to make all this possible. I have rambled on introducing these 2 lovely people. The reason why I've continued is because I'm aware that time is of the essence, but I'm going to be handing over to them later on for any input. But there is another course coming. And that is, and the thing's not working now. Here we go. IGCSE Chemistry, that is be written by yours truly. I'm not just an amateur astronomer, guys. I'm also a chemist who graduated from the University of London at the end of last century, 96 now, so a long time ago. 20 odd years, if I remember rightly. I recently had a quick reunion with an old friend of mine who's now got a PhD, and he was in my group. Yes, as you can imagine. Anyway, but I realised as time went by how much of the chemistry I still recalled, and I wanted to get into offering it as a course that I could offer via Zoom to teach it. But I wanted to make sure as well that I could, bit of a noise here, I don't know if that's somebody else, but I wanted to make sure that I knew the content. So how better you can either read the book, which I kind of have been following here. This is the Pearson XLC City and Guilds publishing book I'm following. And as with an eco, it is in situ. An eco's further ahead than me, I hasten to add, because I'm not only sort of building the IGCSE, I'm also helping an eco put together the maths course as we go too. So that's kind of slowed me down a bit, but I've got my nephew and niece coming online hopefully next week, which is my purpose for going to London, because I've got to carry a computer down to them. Please don't ask me how I'm managing that. But anyway, as with an eco and the maths, I'm looking to offer the IGCSE Chemistry in September. So there'll be an online course, similar formatted to what an eco's building. So yeah, both of us are working extremely hard to put that together for September 2024. And that's another reason for the subscription model, because obviously to incorporate these in as a package, can't easily do it now with the £155 model. I'll be bankrupting people by the time we get to £1,000. So hence it's about making it simpler and about introducing these new courses in. And also Nigel and I, I'm hoping at some point when things calm down, we've got a diploma in astrophysics and space science to revamp, haven't we? So but provided Nigel's still up for that, there seems to be interest in that, so that'll be something else. I will say here, I'm also an e-learning developer, which is how a lot of this is also being done. Jack of all trades, ladies and gentlemen, master of none, I think, as some people would say. But there we are. And that's also why I'm in this shed, because I've got 3 special needs kids in there who I can't keep banishing upstairs when I'm running these. And of course, it means I can have this on while my daughter's watching Peppa Pig in there. And it means that divorce papers are less likely to be drafted, as is where I was. That is why you see all this behind me. I did try a green sheet, as you can see behind me, but that's not worked. So I'm an eccentric, and I guess you just have to take me as I am. But this is how I deliver. So anyway, IGCSE Chemistry coming in September 24. And the new pricing structures will be announced as Maths and GCSE Chemistry come online to complement the GCSE Astronomy that we already have. And that is the end of that. And now I'm going to say, Nigel, is there anything you would like to add to what I have just said?
I think that I'd just like to point out to potential students that astronomy is an observational subject. And therefore, it needs some observational activities, and that's where, as Alice was referring to, the observational skills comes in. They are mandatory. They're not marked. There are 2 projects that the student has to undertake. They have to plan and observe and analyze and evaluate, which is what real astronomers do, real researchers do. Plan, observe, analyze, and then finally evaluate, and maybe go round in circles a couple of times. So one of the projects has to be aided. So that means using a telescope or using a camera, binoculars, some kind of optical aid. The other one is unaided, so naked eye, observing the constellations, using a shadow stick to determine longitude. There's lots of possibilities, but I'll say it now before anybody else signs up. You'll need to get on with the course. It's not coursework. You'll need to get on with the observational skills. All right. It's really, really important. And I'm going to encourage all my students, every time there's a clear night, to go and have a look at least something, even from the back window or something like that. So at the moment, there's a lovely little comet to see with maybe binoculars in the morning. We've got various constellations coming and going as the night set in. There's really something for everybody. So I don't mean literally every opportunity, but really to get in the habit of observing and looking and planning and thinking, oh, why is that as it is? And let's plan something. Let's observe it. Let's observe the moon, say in 3 days' time, and let's see what changes occur. So the observational skills really key to the success really of students on the course.
Oh, yeah, thank you. No, thank you, Nigel, for raising that, and he has covered, I think, quite a big gaping gap that I've left in the presentation there. So thanks again, Nigel. And just to reiterate what Nigel states as well, this is for you to make contact with your course advisor. He will prompt you and remind you, and of course there'll be the initial introduction, but when you've paid up, but where you will be introduced to him. But it's for you to make the effort. What I'm trying to get away from is people saying, "Oh, nobody told us about this." You've been informed. It's in your welcome letter. It's in the initial letter you receive. The onus is on you, but we can't accept any responsibility, I'm afraid, if it's something that you've left to the last minute or what have you. And as Nigel has rightfully pointed out, these need to be done. I mean, even though they're not being assessed, you need these before you can sit the exam with any exam centre. And also, if you use a centre that isn't sort of listed by us, make sure that they're happy to accept our observational sign-off. Tutors and exams we work well with, and they've got no problems. And I will say now, we're joined by another centre in Milton Keynes, who I've got to go and meet on Monday for further discussion. So that's another centre coming on board. We've got another one in London, in Ilford. I keep meaning to go and say hello to whenever I'm down there, but it never happens. And of course, I think we've got Wimbledon as well. And don't forget, we've also got exam centres up here in Northampton. So we are quite well catered for them, but obviously a bit further afield, it's a bit sparser. So obviously, clearly, do your research and see who might be able to help. But anyway, I think at 25 to 7, I've said pretty much all I have to say. Does anybody at this point have any questions? Perhaps, Nico, we can stop recording now. So if people want to turn on their microphones, they can. I think we're still recording at the moment.